I'm Amina Gautier, and I'm going to read a few short pieces from my short story collection, The Best That You Can Do, which is a finalist for the Big Other Book Award in fiction. What the Tide Returns. She counts the children as they come through the door, 1, 2, and 3, to reassure herself that they are hers. She can't say just how happy she is to see them. She's missed them all summer long. She hardly recognizes them. They're browner than ever before and somehow warmer to the touch. She hugs them, and her hands come away coated with fine grains of sand. Both boys come back taller and sporting fresh haircuts. The girl is fuller around the hips, and her hair is braided in a different style. All three come back with more clothes than when they left. They return with an extra suitcase stuffed full of shorts, tees, and swimsuits she never bought them, in colors, patterns, and prints she never knew they liked. They've spent the summer in Puerto Rico, staying with their father and his new wife, and they have now returned to Brooklyn as strangers. They are not the kids she sent to the island, not the children she put on the plane, but they are what the tide returns. She could feel the difference in their sun-warmed skin. All summer they've slept in a house, and now that they know the difference, her little apartment is no longer enough. She can read the truth in their ocean-filled eyes. Now they know they are poor. They've traded in a summer of riding the subway for being ferried in their father's car. They've swapped playing in the public pool for basking on the beach. At dinner that night, they tell stories of knocking mangoes off trees, of their father taking a machete to a coconut, and of them drinking coconut water straight from the gourd. They tell her that the coconuts in Puerto Rico look nothing like the ones in the cartoons resembling hairy bowling balls, and that instead they are large, smooth, and green. Now they know things like this, details she could hardly imagine. And isn't this what she wanted? For them to spend quality time with their father and get to know his culture, to know that it was also theirs, to not have to choose which side of themselves to nourish while the other side withered? She waits for them to become hers again. Yet even after they've been home for hours, they don't revert to the children she remembers. All afternoon and evening they wander the apartment disoriented, using words she doesn't recognize to ask for things she doesn't have. Now, instead of mom or ma, they all call her mommy. They've carried the island back with them, and around them it shimmers, hovering. She can sense its invisible, tangible pull. But no matter who they've become, they spare her their summer stack of Polaroids so she doesn't have to see their father's new life without her. On their way off to bed, they file into her room and tell her how they've missed her, how happy they are to be back. They shower her with kisses, and she feels their kisses drying like salt water on her cheek. Surely not. Surely not everybody was kung fu fighting. But we were. Rained in on a Saturday afternoon in late summer, we have nowhere to go. It's a cleaning day. Our beds are stripped. Our mother sweeps us from our rooms down the hall and into the living room, where she cordons us off and mops us in. We settle on the couch in front of the floor model TV just in time for Kung Fu theater. Today's feature is Mortal Kombat, aka The Return of the Five Deadly Venoms, aka Crippled Avengers. Wrapped, we watch the Tin Man Tigers kill Tu Tin To's wife and chop off his young son's arms. Riveted, we watch him avenge his family by crippling everyone he meets, blinding a peddler, rendering a blacksmith deaf and mute, and cutting off the legs of an innocent bystander. Our mother returns to check on us, sees the screen, and warns us not to fight. She says, "Remember your age." Says, "Remember your strength." She says, "She's not as old as you or as big." Says, "No roughhousing." But what else is there for us to do? We play all the parts. We wander the living room pretending to be deaf, dumb, and blind. Holding broomsticks out before us, we feel our way, toppling furniture as we go. We want to be crippled. We want a teacher to take us in, train us, and make us strong. We want iron fists, iron legs. We want to be avenged. We size each other up, circling for our attacks, looking for openings. We limit ourselves to tiger style only. We chop and kick and push and claw. We evade and sidestep and duck and block. We knock something over, and our mother runs in and scruffs us, grabbing us by the necks like we're kittens, shaking us until we rattle. She's not a boy, she says. I told you not to play so rough. We blink, uncomprehending. Do you hear me? She's not your brother. We hear her loud and clear, but the words, they make no sense. What is a boy? What is a girl? We are simply siblings. I'm his brother. He is my sister. He is my brother. I'm his sister. When I bite into his arm hard enough to break the skin, the blood that surfaces is my own. I taste my blood metal, and we are the same. She looks me over as she scolds, turning my face this way and that. You don't know your own strength, she tells him. But I do, and it is no bother. Brother love only makes a girl stronger. We're back at it again as soon as she leaves. I'll go easier on you, he says. I won't, I promise. Heedless of our mother's warning, we fight. We fight because it's Saturday afternoon and our tiger style is weak and we have to make it better. We fight because this is how we love, and our time together is running out. At summer's end, he's heading off to a boarding school in New England. He'll take the Amtrak at Penn Station and go to a place where I can't follow. What's worse than any pain is being without him. And what's worse even still is that it's his idea to go. He studied for this place, taken tests to get in. I am never scared that he'll hurt me, but his leaving is another thing. With my head locked under his arm, he tells me, I'm really going to miss this. But I know that's not true. And knowing how ready, how eager he is to leave me behind lends fury to my fists, making it easy to break his hold and topple him down onto the couch, to throw myself across him and brace my forearm against his throat. You'll go and forget me there, I say. You won't ever come back. Pinned beneath me, he stares up at me and says, You don't have to be scared of that. He says, You worry over nothing. But in fact, it is a little bit frightening. Mean to me. This is the part where the white girl cries. You tell her, no, she can't touch your hair, and try to explain why, but she's not listening because she's collapsed into tears. Right before your eyes, her bangs flatten, her chin drops, and her thin lips quiver. Why are you being so mean to me, she whines. But you can't answer because her question brings up memories of albums with Lady Day's face on the cover, white gardenias framing her from temple to cheek, and you hear Billie Holiday's bruised, brave, addicted, and addicting voice drawling that famous song. But you can't answer because that song reminds you of the fight with your college boyfriend over whether Lady Day or Sarah Vaughan sang it better, and he thought the answer was obvious. Vaughan's voice was so much smoother and more controlled after all, and he was enrolled in a history of jazz course, so he should know. But you didn't give up so easily, because Billie Holiday had been your bread and butter as a child when every other kid was eating Fruit Loops or cream of wheat, which is to say that your mother fed it to you, literally, whenever she wanted to keep you quiet, which is to say that when she pulled the record from its cardboard sleeve and touched the needle to it, and Billie Holiday's voice leapt from the vinyl to you where you sat beside the hi-fi, you brought the record sleeve to your mouth and clenched it between your teeth so you could hear the song better. And later, when someone told you in grad school that Thomas Edison chomped the wood of his phonograph to better hear the music, you understood completely, even though you are not now and have never been deaf. Yes, your mother fed you Lady Day's music and you consumed it all. Just as you read the autobiography, Lady Sings the Blues, and watched the movie with Diana Ross, so you know all there is to know about Lady Day, who clearly sang the song better than Sarah Vaughan, despite her voice's lack. And you know this despite your decision not to take the history of jazz class with him, which is really what the argument is all about, beneath all the posturing and the chatter. But you can't answer because you listened again to Sarah Vaughan's version years later when there was no college boyfriend to argue her case, and her voice argued it all by itself so that you weren't sure anymore and declared it a tie. But you can't answer because for a second you almost think of the Doris Day version and have to force yourself to think of something else. Otherwise, this would be a completely different story.